Well, hello once again. Just to recap, the theme of my thoughts for the day this week is the impression and influence that 5 characters from my younger days have had on me. Yesterday I recalled an evangelist and speaker who, using an ancient visual aid called a flannel graph, brought alive the Lord's illustration of the narrow and wide gates and of the necessity of walking the right path through life. But today my character is the youth leader who ran a group at the church for teenage boys. It was called Covenanters, part of a national organisation that had as its stated aim to win boys and young men for Christ and to equip them for vigorous Christian life and service. A noble aim. The leader's name was Fred By. By day he was a commercial traveller in the umbrella and the fabrics trade, but much of his spare time was devoted to his Covenanter work, both leading the group on a Sunday afternoon and then at a weekday sports evening. There were also occasional outings and rallies at the weekends. He had a family of his own, 2 sons who became part of the group. So all in all, it was a big commitment, which he carried out with energy, enthusiasm and good humour. It was a very mixed group. Some of the members were sons of church people. Others were from large families and tough backgrounds with no church affiliation whatsoever. But Fred had the ability to develop a rapport with all of us and treated us all the same. The Covenanters had a rousing chorus with a strong melody, which we all stood and sang vigorously at the end of each Sunday meeting. My lasting recollection is of Fred lustily leading the singing of the chorus week by week. He had a loud voice and he really belted it out. The chorus was based upon the words from the book of Joshua chapter 1, where God gives a commission to Joshua to lead the children of Israel into the promised land. Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Entirely suitable words, aren't they, to embolden and encourage young men on the threshold of adulthood with all its opportunities and challenges. The process of singing these words week by week inevitably helped to impress them upon the memory of all of us, so that certainly they became part of my individual spiritual hinterland. Sadly, Fred By died suddenly in his 60s, but at his funeral there was a good representation of boys and young men he had worked with as Covenanter leader. If I have a regret, it's that I cannot recall that I ever expressed my appreciation to him while he was alive for all that he had so unstintingly done for that Covenanter group and for the influence and the help that he had been to us all. But when we are young, we do tend to take a lot for granted. But to me, in retrospect, he illustrates so well that verse from Hebrews, which I quoted yesterday. Remember your leaders who spoke the word of God to you. Consider the outcome of their way of life and imitate their faith. Fred By was one such leader who exemplified these qualities. And tomorrow I'll introduce you to a very different character.